Peace world, thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. I appreciate all of the new subs and the recent subs. And then, any if you like the way that any information is being recapped, reviewed, analyzed, presented, discussed, so on and so forth, do me a favor and hit that like button. It's a world of importance. Look, man, this is a pretty straightforward album review. This new joint by ETO Brigante is the name of the album. It's 11 songs. I just really got familiar with ETO over the last 4 or 5 months, but definitely during this COVID period. I believe he's from Rochester, New York. He's got a very interesting voice. He's got a very interesting qualities to it and character to his voice. He almost sounds like one of those ancillary characters in like in one of the whether it's one of the cartels or just the Latin American figures in all these movies that we watch, who sits back with the giant shades on, smoking a cigar, and only has like 8 lines for the whole movie. It's a lot of. He's got an interesting voice, and his rap style. He kind of like spits his bars in short bursts, and usually it's like some kind of code. In the code of the streets is one of the rules or the laws, and then the next bar is builds off of that. But he doesn't seem to be like, he's not he's not a volume rhymer. So but anyway, ETO Brigante is obviously a play on and it's him paying homage to Carlito's Way, who was Carlito Brigante. The one interesting note is Carlito's Way came out in November of '93, and didn't make a lot of money. Cost about $30 million to make it. That's the estimation according to IMDb, and it only grossed domestically. It only grossed $36.9 million, so $40 million. It just seems like it should have been bigger than that, to be honest. I don't recall whether or not I went and saw this one in the theater or not, but obviously it's a streets it's a popular movie in the streets. To the Latino community, it's probably a banger and a classic. It's one of my favorite movies. It's kind of an underdog. Tons of memorable scenes, memorable quotes, and that's basically what ETO does here on ETO Brigante. Over the 11 songs, you can listen to this entire album in 21 minutes, in under 21 minutes. It's very solid. Unfortunately, this album isn't on. It's not up on Genius, so I can't see who produced all of this. I see ETO produces some of his own tracks. I have no idea who produced any of these 11 songs. Actually, it's 10 songs and 1 skit. Ending scene skit track number 10 is just the famous outro of Carlito's Way. He says, "I always knew they laid me down here at some funeral home. I made it a lot farther than other people." This is after Benny Blanco, has tricked him, has one-upped him, and Pachanga, turned on him and whatnot. So I dig the project. I like it. I mentioned earlier, Alchemist and Conway made Lulu, their EP Lulu, based off of audio snippets of the movie Paid in Full. Skyzoo just dropped his Milestones album. It included or featured several snippets of Trey and Furious from Boys in the Hood talking with one another. And on here, it is several snippets of Carlito's Way, um, worked into the into it. But again, man, not many of these songs are over 2 minutes. Only the first joint, Walberto, is over 3 minutes. I made a mistake earlier of talking about Chi Chi being from Scarface. I forgot about Chi Chi popping up at the beginning of Carlito's Way as Walberto. Chi Chi and Walberto is both characters played by Angel Salazar, I think is his name. I didn't know he was a comedian, but I guess he's of Cuban. I guess he's of Cuban descent and whatnot, and he's a comedian slash actor. Um, and I think Walberto, with it being over 3 minutes, is one of the better. And let me give you my. It's 11 tracks. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 that I have as red on what on my little write up on my notes. 4 dope songs, and then 1, 2, 3. 3 I have in orange, which are pretty hot. So it's not a lot to work with here. Most of these songs have one verse. One of them has like half a verse. He basically takes different key lines of dialogue from Carlito, and has a couple of lyrics built around that, and then adds in like a couple of bars about how he envisions it or expands on it. And then it's just, you're just dealing with the overall feel of the project. I like most of the beats. Several of them, seem kind of like Latin influenced or built off of Latin music that's sampled. Walberto is a dope track. Many of the tracks give it a cinematic feel, which I'm sure is something he's obviously aiming for. No real bad beats, no beats that I really didn't enjoy. So Walberto is track number 1. Real dope. Gets into the direct mentions from Carlito's Way. Pool hall scene is the second track. Works in details from it's a lot of details in that scene from the movie. You knew that one was gonna be on here. One thing that's kind of interesting is that he doesn't give many of the other characters. He doesn't take any of their audio from much dialogue from anybody but Pachanga. So there is no John Leguizamo as Benny Blanco. He doesn't pop up on here. He didn't make any note of the women in the movie either. I can't remember the one girl that Dave was involved with. Dave Kleinfeld was involved. No mentions of her. It's just all kind of moving around. Carlito's thoughts, hustling, trying to get out of the game and survive the game. Not fall for any of the traps of the game. Track 3, Training. That's probably my favorite beat on here. It's a really big, sounds really big. It's a real driving and kind of aggressive beat. Only one verse on there. I thought he could have done a little bit more with Training. Track number 4, Old Hundreds. The song's only 66 seconds long. Real cinematic feel to it. Again, he's on message lyrically, but that's not that difficult to do in a 66-second song. Track 5, the Laline scene, just under 2 minutes. Real Latin vibe on this one, which is dope because the meeting between Laline and which is Viggo Mortensen, by the way. I couldn't think of his name earlier. That's when Laline goes in and he's wearing a wire trying to working for the feds to try to take Carlito down, and Carlito picks up on it very quickly what's happening and says, "I'm not gonna kill you." Like I said, many of the key lines from Carlito pops up in Eto's lyrics. So Lalene's Scene is pretty dope. That's one that I haven't read. Track 6, Smoke Break Intermission. One other quick note: with a lot of these guys that I'm listening to that are all connected, despite all of the music that they're pushing out right now, I'm not hearing a lot of recycled samples and beats. I mean, it's blowing my mind how vast the sound, the depth of the sound. So much music. You used to, back in the 90s and the late 80s, you would hear popular samples get reused quite a bit. A lot of these guys, I'm listening to a lot of these projects, you don't hear like lazy, just let me use that. It's not happening. So track 7 is David Kleinfeld is the name of that one. That's another one I haven't read. Obviously, that's a very important scene because Kleinfeld rolled on Carlito, who, even though Kleinfeld wasn't from the streets, wasn't from the game, Carlito's code, he had love for Kleinfeld. And once he found out that he tried to warn Kleinfeld, this is something you can't get a late start in. And are you a lawyer or are you a gangster? And so that's a dope one. Track 8, Benny Blanco Club Scene. 93 seconds on this one. I had this one in orange, so again, a pretty hot joint, but 93 seconds, man. I mean, a lot of these is just like the chorus is hot and then the verse. That's it. Track number 9, Button Up. This was kind of the only meh song on here. Track 10, Ending Scene Skit, and then track 11, The Last Call. I have that one in orange, so that's another one that's close to being a really dope joint. So all in all, man, it's a dope project. Good ride music. Getting to take in more of Eto. Check out his The Beauty of It, I think was the name of his album that was out 3 months ago, maybe 2.5 to 3.5 months ago. The Beauty of It, I believe, is what it's called. And again, like I said, man, it's all of these different dudes who I've just stumbled across, in listening to Griselda, and then Griselda, and then a 38 Special, and then this guy Eto, Lord Flea is in there. I think those dudes have had some collaborations. I can't think of that other Baladas. Superior was the producer. I can't think of my man's name though. Damn. But anyway, like I said, it's all these dudes just working and making music and building catalogs and so on and so forth. And another thing, one last comment that I just wanted to make on the state of the game. Again, I mean, I wonder, how does a dude like Eto, how do you get the money, or what's the negotiations that happens to get to be able to use these samples from a major motion picture like Carlito's Way? How much did that cost? And then, this is kind of an extension of what you're seeing right now. It's not all about selling albums. Shout out to RJ Payne, who's I'm a Effing Animal came out today, which is a collaboration album you can only buy at IamRJPayne.com. I'm a little on the fence about how I making that purchase, because I don't like digital. I don't know. That's a different story. But what I was getting ready to say was, in addition to putting out the material, this was useful for these guys traveling across the country. But then secondly, more so than just pushing albums, a lot of these guys release merchandise with these projects, and that they really get to cash in on that. You have an arrangement with an apparel maker. I see these guys working through Champion to have their tees and whatnot. So I think that's dope, and some entrepreneurship, entrepreneurialism, and working your product a different way. And then you build these good relationships with these audiences, and then you sell physical copies, You sell albums, you know, actual vinyl, and it's dope to see the audience responding to these guys on their Instagram accounts and really supporting these guys. And I saw a brother earlier was, you know, talked about everything on Benny DeBlanco's. I mean Benny DeBlanco, Benny the Butcher's. That he, you know, they put out his album, The Respected Sopranos, but I guess the dude was saying all of the items were sold out. So I like this. I just like to see this shift in commerce and owning your, you know, finding a way to earn off of your persona, your brand, and I think that's dope. I haven't ordered many of them yet, but I plan to do so. So that's it, man. ETO Brigante by ETO. Check it out. If I had to, I mean, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. You know, 4 out of 5. Again, I think he's probably very proud of this project, but I felt like, man, he left some yards on the field here, some touchdowns, you know, some points on the court. I felt like he could have really went. But again, I think that's kind of where he is as an MC. He's not a volume guy, and but again, worthy of you know, some listens, getting it into your rotation, and it adds another you know, bullet to his catalog, and we see what he does next. My name is Wood. Thanks for rocking with me. Like I always in this, man, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.